Hey guys, John here. Welcome back to another video. Today's video is just going to be a simple feeding video and how I feed my green tree pythons. Now, I've touched on some of the other basic tips of keeping them together and how that can house issues when coming to feeding. Now, it's not perfect what I do, but it gets the job done, but you still have to pay quite a bit of attention. Now in today's video, I'm going to be feeding all of my green tree pythons, which I have 5 in my collection. So stick around in the video and you'll end up seeing all 5 being fed. Now right in front of you right now, I'm housing 2 green tree pythons. Now, since my last videos, I've actually gone ahead and sexed these guys. Now it was my first time probing a green tree python by myself, so I'm still not 100% confident at my result. Now, from what I have gauged, the one in the top of the tank seems to be a female, and the one below seems to be a male. Now that is, like I said, I'm almost certain on the male below, but the females, that basically the rest of my collection turned out to be females. I still have a bit of question, and I will get a more experienced keeper to test out and see if I am right or wrong. Now, in terms of feeding these guys, there's not a great deal that I do. All I do, of course, feed an appropriate size rodent per animal, as well as inject it with water. Now, injecting your animal's prey item or food item with water serves a few benefits in terms of hydration aspects. Now, it's not going to fix a dehydrated animal, but it's another way of just assuring that your animals are getting the correct or, let's just say, adequate hydration to basically get them through a week. So these guys get fed on a weekly basis as I keep them at a little bit higher temperatures, so their metabolism is really well. And here in Queensland, Australia, it's summer right now, so it is fairly warm, so their metabolism is pumping. So we'll get ahead in the video and we'll start feeding. Now, very dependent on which one goes after the rodent first as to which one I will basically give the food to, as you will oftentimes have both of them going after the prey item at the same time, which is not an ideal situation. So we'll get the rodents, which I have pre-thawed out and pre-injected with water, in my hands outside of the camera, and we'll get them feeding right now. So, like I said, an appropriate sized rodent is going to be what you're going to be using, and it's as simple as just dangling in front of them. None of my snakes have issues with feeding, so if you do have feeding issues, it is unfortunate. I've never really run into any within the 5 that I have. So you may want to watch some other videos, which I will do some more in the future on feeding a finicky animal. But let's get started. So you've got the rodent right here, nice and easy. Basically just position them in a way where the snake will get a hold of them. I'll see if I can feed this one first. Nice simple take, very, very calm. That's probably the best situation. The one below grabbed it first. Now that one, while it's eating, I can go ahead and feed the one above it, which is going to be really a much more ideal situation. And you can see they both didn't necessarily lunge at the prey item itself, which is the best case scenario. I have had issues in the past with them going after it altogether, but it's just a give and take on each feeding situation. So we'll go ahead and get the second rodent out. Oh, bit of a fly landed on the little guy. And we'll see if we can entice it. So you can see that tongue flickering, noticing, hey, I've got a bit of food in front of me. They don't need a lot of coaxing, and there you go. Now, it's as simple as that. The main thing you want to do in terms of housing them together is actually watch them. Make sure that one doesn't finish the food first and then try to go after the other one. So you have to keep a pretty close eye on them. But that's basically it. Pretty simple feeding video. Like I said, don't really have any issues with my green trees eating. So nice and simple. What I'll do, I'll move the tripod slightly over to the left. We'll get the third enclosure happening, or the second enclosure. And we shall pause the video and I'll get it back once it's all set up. All right, guys, I'm back with the second the second enclosure and feeding the third rodent. All the ones you've just seen are my Australian green tree pythons. We'll get onto my Biacs in a moment, but we'll just feed the Aussies first. So get it enticed, nice coil, and you can see the rodents are quite fat. It is because it is injected with water. Now, will all of that water be ingested? Absolutely not. It's basically, a lot of it will end up draining out, but it does give the rodent a little bit more of the hydration factor that you are searching for. Now, that's 3 out of the 5 done. What I'll do is I'll take my, I've got one red baby neonate and another fully adult girl, which I will show you in a second, and I will set them up and we'll take it away from there. All right, so I'm back on the table here, just set up a little bit differently so you guys have a little bit of a better idea and a bit of a better look as to what I'm doing. Now, this one is a red Biac, which is going to hopefully turn to a mustard color. Very bred by a pretty pronounced Australian breeder called Mitchell Burke. If you guys have heard of him, go check his page out on Instagram and Facebook. Highly recommend him. Now, in terms of feeding these guys, nothing changes. Setup is a little bit different. This is their juvenile setup, so we'll get onto that. As you can see, absolutely stunning animal. I'll shift the tripod just over a tad. Focus in. Nothing different. You got your pinky. Well, it's a little fuzzy. Entice the little guy or girl. I haven't been able to sex this one as it's a little bit on the small side. Let them get the smell. Really good coil. Let go. Now, being that this animal is over the water bowl, not the most ideal situation. So simply for feeding factor, I'm going to move that water dish outside of its reach, for the simple fact that you just don't want your snake to drown. Now, it sounds pretty silly, but once they're locked on and coiled on and prey item, they can be not necessarily observant and aware of the outside situations and can unfortunately actually drown themselves or maybe inhale or ingest a bit too much water, which can cause complications, which is obviously not what you want. So that guy's done, or girl is done. We shall take a look at the last adult Biac, which I am almost certain is a female, and I'm very excited to have this one in my collection. I'm searching for a boy for her to hopefully pair next season, within the next year or two, and I can hopefully get some young out of them. Bear with me, and I will set that one up, and we'll get back into the video. Alrighty, so I am back with my final snake in the collection. Now, this one, as you can see, extremely stunning animal. Like I said, female Biac, showing some extremely nice yellows and whites throughout the body and face. Now, this one, like I said, nothing different as opposed to the last 4 you've just seen. I have the prey, the rodent right here to the right-hand side, bottom right. And it's as simple as doing everything the same. Dangle it in front, it will coil, and you're done. Just a small video of something a bit different for you guys to take a look at. Right in front, coiled on, lovely. Did knock the water dish a bit, not going to cause any issues. Now, these guys don't take too long to eat at all. Now, this video, I wouldn't imagine, is more than a few minutes long. And I'll actually take these snakes, the phone off the tripod, and I'll show you the other animals to show you how far along they've actually eaten their prey items. So we'll get a bit of a closer look at this girl. Absolutely stunning. And we'll take a look at the ones we first showed off into the video. All done. As you can see, one in the back just finishing up. And this one here hasn't started as of yet. It's coiled a bit oddly. And we'll go over to this one. Just started to ingest. So really short video, guys, nothing too crazy. I hope you guys enjoy. Please leave a comment in the comment section below Let me know what you'd like to have a look at. And for you guys that don't know, I actually have a full Instagram account, which you can take a look at all my animals. When I say animals, I only have green tree pythons and a few frogs. So if you're into that, by all means, check out John's Exotics on my Instagram page. And it is a public page, which you can take a look at all my animals and follow if you'd like to come along for the journey. Hope you guys enjoy. I'll see you in the next video where I'll do a proper close-up look at all these snakes. I was going to do the collection tour first, but you guys ended up getting this first because it's feeding day and I had a bit extra time. So I hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you in the next video.